As we're closing in on the last stages of construction, it's all about refining the finer details. First up, we're adding the antenna. A bit like threading the needle, but hey, it's worth it for the realism. Then we move on to what I like to call my own chosen torture, fixing the seam on the bottom of the turret. Now, most sane folks would skip this step. It's barely visible, but not me. I'll walk through that self-inflicted agony for you. After that, we'll fit in the smoke grenade launch tubes, getting those ready for some final adjustments. And of course, we'll finish off the session with a primer coat, bringing all these parts together for the first time in one color. Let's get this Puma closer to the finish line. All right, so I'm going to add the antenna now. So there's two of these. Now I wonder if that one should go there or that one should go there, or are they the same size? That one looks smaller. Let me check. Here you can see I'm cleaning up the plastic antenna parts that come with the kit. As you'll see later in this video, I decided to use some aftermarket brass 2-meter antennas that I bought many years ago. At this point, it would have been good to snip that plastic antenna off, drill the hole, and then glue the mount in. I want to drill that out. Aha! I solved the problem. Yeah, that one doesn't belong there. This one belongs there. And then this one goes here. And the reason I can tell that, so I pulled this one off of there, and yeah, I got to switch it out because there's a telltale thing with this antenna. But you see on this broken piece, that's how I could tell, because I broke this earlier. On the end, there's a little blip there. And that's for the star antenna that goes up there. So let me glue this on here. I should probably clean up these attachment points first, because it'll break otherwise. Glue joins like this, but ended on skinny little pieces, will not stay. I may at some point have to replace this. Alright, I've taken some crazy glue and I've gone around this bottom part here. And then I'm going to take one of my homemade sanding blocks. Now, some of you may be scratching your head at this point, going, what the hell is he doing? Well, you know, I've just got this need to make sure everything looks perfect. So I filled
All
the
right.
seam between the bottom of the turret and the side, and then I want to get rid of that seam, so I filled it with CA. As you'll see later, I even go to more extreme measures. Of course, this is not what I suggest for any normal person out there. Okay, you can see here I've decided to just snip off the kit antenna, and I'm going to drill out the hole that will allow the brass replacement antenna to go into. Now I had to be very careful as I went along here because there's only a certain amount of circumference that I have an option to drill out. So I had to be very careful and go at it slowly, starting off with the smallest circumference for the drill bit and, you know, gradually enlarging it carefully and slowly, unfortunately for you, until the brass part could fit in there comfortably. Another reason I use the brass part is because somehow I broke the antenna. I know that sounds crazy. Ha ha ha. But the truth is once you break a piece like that, you'll never get it to be good again. So that's probably the main reason I replaced it. As we dive into the details of the Sdkfz.234/2 Puma, we find an example of World War II German engineering designed for high-speed reconnaissance. While the Puma is often recognized for its distinctive 8-wheel drive and 5cm KWK 39/1 L60 gun, the vehicle's communication system played a vital role in its battlefield effectiveness. For communication, most Puma reconnaissance vehicles came standard with a single omnidirectional antenna connected to the FUG SPR GER F Funksprechgerät F radio mounted on a spring-loaded base toward the vehicle's rear. This 2-meter antenna, essential for keeping communication lines open across reconnaissance ranges, could handle both voice and Morse code transmissions. It allowed communication up to 6 to 8 kilometers under ideal conditions, although this varied depending on the terrain and environment. The flexible base minimized the risk of damage by allowing the antenna to bend if it is snagged on vegetation, a useful feature when moving through varied landscape. The command variant of the Puma, however, had an expanded radio setup designed to support a more complex communication structure. It was equipped with a second antenna, providing additional reach and enabling the command Puma to maintain extended communication with higher command and coordinate with other vehicles in the reconnaissance unit. This dual antenna arrangement enhanced the operational command Puma's ability to manage battlefield reconnaissance effectively, especially during high mobility maneuvers where quick, reliable communication was essential. The primary FUG radio system, while compact, was powerful. It offered an impressive range with a solid transmission radius for voice communications. While it wasn't without limitations, range could be affected by dense terrain, the dual antennas in the command variant maximize connectivity. Both setups allowed crews to report on enemy positions and movements in real time, ensuring a valuable flow of information back to command. This attention to detail, even in communication hardware, reflects how the Sdkfz.234/2 Puma was designed to meet the demanding requirements of armored reconnaissance. Its antennas may appear understated, but they were a critical link between the front lines and command, turning the Puma into an agile, well-connected asset on the battlefield. So yeah, we're doing another little segue here where I'm just adding a few of the little tiny parts that are left yet to get in on this aftermarket barrel from Aber.
What the hell?
I like it.
The Sdkfz.234/2 Puma was armed with a primary 5cm KWK 39/1 L/60 main gun and had a coaxially mounted MG42 machine gun. This setup provided it with both anti-armor capabilities and a secondary weapon effective against infantry or unarmored target. The coaxial MG42 was positioned alongside the main gun within the turret, allowing the gunner to switch between the two based on target needs without needing to realign the target or switch positions. This configuration was practical for the 234/2's reconnaissance role, as it could engage a variety of threats while keeping mobility and firepower balanced. As we move into the turret detailing, let's turn our attention to the smoke grenade dischargers installed on the Sdkfz.234/2. Positioned along the turret sides, these smoke candle discharges, or Nebelkertsabwehrvorrichtung, allowed the crew to quickly deploy smoke screens. The feature was crucial for evasive maneuvers, providing cover when the vehicle needed to retreat or reposition without taking heavy fire. On this model, I'm using some aftermarket brass items from Voyager models. These small but vital components add an authentic touch, reminding us of the tactical advantages German reconnaissance vehicles like this had, even in high-risk engagements. The Sdkfz.234/2 Puma saw significant action in both the eastern and western fronts, serving primarily as a reconnaissance vehicle in armored divisions. Here's an overview of its use in both Normandy and Russia. Normandy Campaign, Western Front. In the Normandy Campaign, the Puma was deployed with units such as the 2nd Panzer Division, the Panzerlehr Division, both known for their reconnaissance capabilities. During this period, the Puma's high mobility and powerful 50mm KWK 39/1 gun allowed it to fulfill various roles from scouting to direct engagement with Allied armored vehicles. The terrain of Normandy, marked by dense hedgerows and narrow lanes, presented both challenges and advantages. The Puma's 8-wheel drive and all-wheel steering allowed it to maneuver over rough ground better than many German vehicles, but the close quarters limited its speed advantage. In some documented encounters, Pumas would advance ahead of main German columns, scouting for enemy positions and calling in artillery or directing tank support when encountering Allied armor. In Normandy, Pumas would often perform reconnaissance by fire, deliberately engaging lightly defended positions to gauge enemy strength before retreating and relaying information to heavier units. The Allied presence of air superiority limited Puma activity to dusk or night missions to avoid airstrikes. The Puma's onboard Nebelwurfgerät and low silhouette helped it withdraw under fire by creating temporary smoke screens and slipping away into cover. Eastern Front, Russia. In the Eastern Front, Pumas operated within Panzer and Panzergrenadier divisions tasked with reconnaissance and flanking maneuvers in open terrain. The vehicle's range and speed made it ideal for the vast steppes and challenging Russian winters, where many tracked vehicles struggled. German armored reconnaissance units, including those equipped with Pumas, played essential roles in gathering intelligence on Soviet troop movements and armored positions. The Puma's 50mm gun, while effective against lighter Soviet tanks and infantry, faced limitations against the heavily armored T-34 and KV tanks. However, its maneuverability allowed it to engage and evade when needed, often hitting from a distance or ambushing softer targets like trucks or exposed infantry. During the fluid mobile engagements typical on the Eastern Front, Pumas could exploit breakthroughs in the Soviet lines, scouting deep behind enemy lines, disrupting supply routes, and providing critical reconnaissance. In both theaters, the Puma's strength in reconnaissance and skirmishing were hampered mainly by its limited armor. Yet, the vehicle was highly regarded for its agility and durability across these diverse environments. Its ability to operate effectively in such varied roles on both fronts contributed to its lasting reputation as one of the best reconnaissance vehicles of the war.
Okay. Cut that off. I keep doing that. That's one thing you don't see on other people's videos. Maybe they don't show all the screw ups, eh? All right, so I'm having issues fitting this thing in the proper direction, I think. Because there is this ammo box. And I'm wondering if I turn it around, it will fit. Because in the instructions, it's not really that clear what you're meant to do. All right, so I think the easiest way to deal with this is to snip it right there. And then all right, let's put that like that. Come on. Damn. We'll touch up the paint. Once it's dry, I think I'm going to let that one side get nice and solid. Bloody hell. How can we do this? All right, so that's in place. The instructions don't really show exactly which way it's supposed to go, whether it's that slant or that slant. I sanded quite a bit of this off. I think I'm going to add a little bit of plastic. Maybe this is too much though. Yeah, it might be too much. Maybe I'll use this one. Yeah, maybe I'll just add a little bit. So I propose to do it this way. I'll show you. All right, so what I did earlier is I ran a pencil with this piece of paper around this opening. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that kind of moved on me. Let's try that again. And this time, so I'm going to do it on the sticky side this time. So I got to flip it over there. So I think that might work. So I'm just going to use my fingernail. Is that going to be enough on the one side there? You know, I think I'm going to clean that off. All right, let's try that again. Okay, I think that's going to work. All right, I'm gonna cover up these flaps. Like, don't build it like me with putting this on. I wish I hadn't have been so, I don't know why. I guess I was just eager to see what it looked like, but it's ended up causing me some issues. So if you can, keep this off, maybe masking tape the other side, put it on, and then you can spray your camo. So anyways, I've got that one covered with paper. All right. I ended up not going ahead with that because that just seemed a little bit extreme. I may add some putty. I don't know. Bit of a mess. All right, well, I've got to make a mask for where these doors go in there. So I'm going to trace this out. Does pen work? All right, so we'll do the other side. All right, so that's masked off. This has got to go in there. Oh, look at those things are moving all around. So I got this out of a bottle. I don't know if it was pill bottle or what, but it's quite useful for things like this. Check it out. All right, so I'm gonna be I gotta take off all these things too. All right, well, I did a little bit more research, and these are not the proper headlights. These are not the proper headlights. I need the ones with the blackout slits. So off they come, and I'll have to drill some holes. Damn it. So I don't think they're gonna come out. Damn it. All right, that one came out. That's great. I don't have to cut it. Now, come on. Ah, yay. Yay. Okay. I'll be glad when I can glue these hatches down. They're a bloody pain. Ah. So that definitely did help by switching that ammo bag around the other way. Because now I can actually okay, I gotta do this guy. All right, so after seeing a picture of this actual vehicle I'm doing, all right. Hmm. What are you doing? I didn't notice, but you gotta put two more of these PE parts. So again, I'm going to use
And that wraps up part 15 of our Mini Art 1/35 scale Sdkfz.234/2 Puma build. We've gotten even closer to bringing this remarkable kit to life with the latest detailing and adjustments. We're seeing how each small piece of work comes together in the big picture, bringing that Puma's complexity to the forefront. Thanks for sticking with me through this intricate process and sharing in the little victories and challenges along the way. Your insights and comments make each session a bit more enjoyable, so feel free to keep them coming. In the meantime and in between time, that's another edition of Jet Scale Models. Y'all come back now, you hear?